But what really galls me is the people saying,
Ralph Nader and the Green Party are the reason Gore lost the election. And if Gore was president right now, everything would be all better.
well, maybe they have a point if you look only superficially, because what was it, 500 votes separating Bush and Gore when our Supreme Court arbitrarily ended the recount and crowned King George, the next president? Contrasting that with 97,000 votes in Florida for Ralph Nader and almost 3 million nationwide. Superficially, they have a point, but when you look beneath that, hey, wait a minute. Nader and the Greens didn't cost Gore the election. Gore cost Gore the election. By driving so many of us who originally were gung-ho members of the Democratic Party into the hands of a third party, there's no way we were going to vote for anybody, even if Bush was the alternative, if the other supposed opponent was also pro-death penalty, pro-drug war, pro-WTO, pro-destroying the welfare benefits. Gore was also pro-Star Wars. There's no way I, for one, am going to vote for anybody who is that toxic and that far on the wrong side of things I care that deeply about. And people all over the world are mad as hell at Bush for pulling out of the Kyoto Treaty to combat global warming. Well, guess who went over to Kyoto when they were negotiating the treaty and tried to squelch it right then and there? Gore. Guess which one of those two guys came out in May of 2000 and said we should start teaching biblical creation in public schools again? Gore. Yeah. He said, oh, it should not be in biology class. It should be in religion class. Trouble is, in American public schools, there's not a religion class, nor should there be. I mean, you want to study religion, why not the church of your choice, not the church of the government's choice? On top of that, Gore helped throw the elections by spending so much money running attack ads against Ralph Nader in California and other states he was already going to win the electoral votes for. He could have spent that money shoring up his support in states like Tennessee, Arkansas. If he'd won any one of these states, and of course Tennessee was his alleged home state, even though he grew up a pampered rich senator's kid in Washington, D.C., if he had spent money shoring up and won any one of those states, Florida wouldn't have mattered. But oh no, it's more important to bash the Greens. And when the Democrats helped pass Ashcroft's anti-terrorism bills designed to keep us all under surveillance and bust us for no reason, how much of an alternative to Bush were they ever in the first place in this day and age? It ain't the Greens that are spoilers, it's the corporate Democrats who keep selling down the Democratic Party's best principles to corporations. They're the spoilers. And there's another factor that cost Gore that election that nobody seems to want to acknowledge: his wife. Where was the youth vote? Where was Rah Rah MTV Rock the Vote when Gore was running for president? Nowhere to be found. What is it, 10 years of makeover and people still remember that bitch the same way I do? That she has infiltrated and infected every one of our lives by marring our music collections with explicit lyric parental advisory notices, known to some of us as the tipper sticker. She had much more in mind when she and her main partner in founding the Parents Music Resource Center, the PMRC, held those anti-music hearings in the Senate in 1985. Tipper, who had compared herself to Ralph Nader as a consumer advocate, called herself a feminist and a liberal. She wanted a rating system that would not only rate sexual content, but V for violent, O for occult, which some of her religious right friends define as being Catholic or being Jewish, and wanted a special red flag rating for homosexual content, too. Funny how all the gay activists who are as mad at the Green Party as anybody because Gore isn't president don't seem to know that Gore's own wife, if not Gore himself, homophobic. Totally homophobic. I wonder if the West Memphis Three would be in jail doing life or on death row for a crime they quite likely didn't commit if it weren't for Tipper's hysteria about heavy metal a few years before. And people in Tennessee have told me that they get carded at Tower Records for trying to buy something with a Tipper sticker. What are you doing in Walmart in the first place, though? Walmart's going to protect the teenagers' fragile eggshell minds from songs about violence and gunplay. You can't have a song about getting violent with a gun at Walmart unless it's a country song, of course. But you can sure as hell go across to the sporting goods section of Walmart and get yourself a gun. Plenty of ammo, too. Family values on parade. Just like the family values Nazis just love the unborn, but once they're born, they don't care anymore. They don't want to fund the schools, but they're happy to put them in jail and happy to execute them. Family values on parade. Just like Tipper's friends.